Okay, good deal. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Donnell Eric Chandler. I'm here with Minorities Moving Forward with Business, and I am here with the man that whom I have read a lot about. He doesn't know that, but I've done my homework on him. And this is Mr. Busby Sr. He is the president of the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce nonprofit organization. Am I correct?
Actually, the name is the U.S. Black Chamber Inc., but as long as you don't call me late for dinner or late for the check, I will respond. So thank you for allowing me to be here this afternoon.
Yes, sir. We're very glad to be able to have an opportunity to be able to interview with you because a lot of people that are watching this may have heard of you and may have heard of the organization, but may have not been personally introduced to it. So this is a great opportunity for me to be able to stand beside you and be able to glean from someone whom I can learn from. So that's very, very good.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to tell a little about what we do as a national organization. We're a relatively young organization. We came in about the same time that this administration came into office in 2009. We're a national organization. We have 113 black chambers across the country. We're in 22 states across the country, and we service and have membership base of about 240,000 African American businesses, everything from what I say, not mom and pops, but mom or pops, all the way up to some of our largest African American businesses in this country.
Wow. Now on that, okay, we're going to first start talking about the five pillars. That is very. Very intrigued by that. Assisting businesses, getting contracts, assisting businesses, getting assessed as far as capital, entrepreneurial training, boosting chamber training, and also advocacy, right? So you think I don't know anything? See that I done my homework. And so with those five pillars, what does that mean, Mr. Busby?
Sure. I appreciate you doing your homework because so many small business owners go into situations where they have a tendency to be unsuccessful. So I want to commend you on your efforts. When I first came to Washington, D.C., African American business owners need. Understand that for about 10 years I was in corporate America as a senior executive. For about 10 years I was an entrepreneur, small business owner, and had grown a small business from 5 employees. It grew it to 7. USA Super Clean. From 5 employees to 700 employees. And I also ran a chamber across the country in Phoenix, Arizona. So kind of felt like I knew a little bit about what African American business owners were up against. Felt like I knew what chamber presidents needed to continue to move our communities in the right direction, and also had an appreciation for what our corporate partners wanted and needed from us as business owners. And so we brought all those things together to create our 5 pillars. And the first one is probably the most important one to me, which is advocacy. Being in Washington, D.C., literally everyone has someone advocating on their behalf, except for African American business owners, until now. And when the U.S. Black Chamber was formed, we now have a voice at the table representing our concerns and making sure that we're not left out. Now, we've done great jobs in reference to criminal issues, education, healthcare, but the one thing that's going to move our community forward is really going to be entrepreneur success. I always say in order for there to be a successful America, you need to have successful black communities. And in order for there to be successful black communities, you need to have successful black businesses. And in order to have successful black businesses, you must have successful black chambers. So as we created this organization, we always kept that in mind. The second pillar is access to capital. And if you ask any small business owner, black, white, majority, minority, the number one concern that they all have is access to capital. But if you look at African American business owners, it's even that much more polarized because most of us had our assets in our homes. And when the housing market dropped, our credit worthiness fell with that. No problem that we had, but it was just the economy that changed on us. And so we now have fewer homeowners from the African American community than we did in 1910. Unheard of. We've lost that much gain in reference to our credit worthiness. So we had to figure out a way in which to be creative from traditional and non-traditional methodologies. I'm here in Charlotte this evening to really talk about the 5 pillars, and I'll go into a great deal, but I really want to say that we've done a phenomenal job, especially in one of your neighboring states, in South Carolina, Beaufort, South Carolina, where we were successful in making their black chamber the first chamber in the country a micro lender. Through the USDA, we've allowed them a grant of up to $500,000 to make small business loans to their members. We've had success in a seamstress where she was able to buy new sewing machines, and immediately were able to hire two new African Americans that were unemployed. The third one is contracting. If you look at this administration, we've had fewer dollars spent with African American firms than ever before. We have to fix that. And part of the challenge is we have to have representation. I say Washington, D.C. is no longer overt racism, but it's very covert. They just don't know us. I have the opportunity to sit at the table, and when contracts come to fruition, it's a lot about who you know, and it's passing out of contracts there. And if we're not there to advocate on our behalf, we're not going to get the contract opportunities. I always say 70% of the deals are done by the time we ever see them. So we have to change that, and that's what we're doing at the U.S. Black Chamber. I don't want to fight for you in Washington, D.C., advocate on your behalf, then go out and get you a loan, then go get you a contract only to have you fail. So we do the fourth one, which is entrepreneurial training. And as a former and still small business owner, I have touched and felt a lot of small business education programs. And so we've created one that's specific to African Americans that deals with many of their concerns. And it's a combination of online through the University of Phoenix, or you can take it at your chamber, or you can take it at a campus that we work with. And the last one is our chamber development. As a former chamber president, it was always amazing to me that you had to wear the hat many times of a teacher, a preacher, a business owner, a coach, a mentor, a politician, a writer, and where do you go get those skills that you need? And so that was our fifth one. It was probably, to me, the most important one that we've really created. In 2012, this year, we had our second annual School of Chamber Management, where we were able to bring in 100 of our chamber leaders from across the country to Washington, D.C. to really give them the skills and the resources and the relationships that they need to be successful. The last day of that event, we had our top 150 business owners from across the country come, and we spent a day at the White House. And we had briefings with some of the key African American leaders from Treasury to SBA to EPA to sit down and talk to us about where the opportunities were coming from, some of the challenges that they face, and how we could work with them both politically as well as business concerns. And it was a phenomenal week, and we were really pleased to see that we were able to make some relationships even with some of the business owners here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You know, now first of all, as I listen to you, and very smart man, and sounds like, you know, when it comes to education training, that is so essential. So I'm very glad to hear that. One of the things that also this year, I want to say maybe it was in July, that was very interesting to me is that the chamber partnered up with the bank, with the black-owned bank, and you made a comment, and you said this is a game changer. You know, what did you mean by that?
Well, I think, you know, we have partnerships with some of the largest banks, and I know Wells Fargo is here and you're down, and they've been great partners to us. But the fact of the matter is, when African Americans lost their credit ability, as great of a partner as B of A or many of the other banks, they just aren't able to make the loans. We were able to go to agencies like USDA to provide funds for chambers, but we also had to look at our own black banks to make them accountable, and to also give them a vehicle to be able to go to good businesses that said, you know, these are folks that are in our local communities. 90% of the loans that they make are to black businesses. And so if we can truly get them to understand and work with our businesses, we can do phenomenal things in our local communities. I always say, we talk about the unemployment numbers in our communities across the country. The fact of the matter is, if each small business owner that we have throughout this country hired one additional employee, just one, we could eliminate unemployment in the African American community. And we have to do that through creating and working with other organizations such as the black banks, the black newspapers, the organizations that are already established in our communities, to really bring them together to have one front to be able to tackle some of the issues that are facing.
Well, Mr. Busby, I just consider it an awesome opportunity for you to just take time out and interview with us. Thank you so much for what you're doing and the sacrifice. Not a lot of people I know talk about the sacrifice that you make behind the scenes, but I'm gonna help recognize you for that. Being a leader in any kind of in any kind of situation or organization, there is sacrifice, and a lot of people don't talk about that. But we appreciate the sacrifice that you made. We appreciate you flying to coming down here with us down here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where it's happening at. So we really, really appreciate that, Mr. Busby. I look forward to a speech up there too. So thank you so much, Mr. Busby.
Thank you. Last thing I want to say, for those of you that are watching, this is a phenomenal event. I appreciate what you're doing. If you want to find out more information about us, you can find us on our website at www.usblackchamber.org. Again, www.usblackchamber.org. Like us on Facebook. You can make us a friend. You can find us on Twitter, as well as Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We appreciate you and look forward to you becoming a member of the U.S. Black Chamber.
Thank you. Awesome. I think they
I think somebody else.